There are a lot of moving parts when it comes to adapting something for TV or for the theaters. It could be a book, a video game, or if you are Disney, you can just adapt the same thing into live action. As hard as it is to make a film or a TV show, I've always thought that adapting from a source is the easiest part of the craft. Unfortunately, in recent times, there is a serious problem in Hollywood. Modern creatives are allergic to sticking to the source material, and the new Devil May Cry anime is not any different. In today's video, we'll be going over the new DMC series and the fact that its showrunner has no idea what DMC is about, or at the very least, he just chose to do whatever he wanted to do with this series. But before we go on, don't forget to like and subscribe. Devil May Cry is a video game series that was created by Hideki Kamiya and published by Capcom. Its first installation was released in 2001 to critical acclaim with praise for its writing, gameplay, and dynamic fight mechanics. Devil May Cry has spawned sequels, a manga, a reboot, and a 2007 anime series. The DMC franchise is one of the most successful gaming series of all time, a $1 billion franchise. So it was no surprise to see that Netflix was making a new Devil May Cry series for TV. As a fan myself, I was excited because the last Devil May Cry entry was a while back. The Netflix DMC series was released last Thursday, and after watching the show, I came away with mixed feelings. The show adapts portions of Devil May Cry 3 and the manga series that was released, and after watching it, I came to the conclusion that Adi Shankar just doesn't get Devil May Cry. I'm sorry. Devil May Cry isn't some complex out-of-this-world story, and the fact that these creatives cannot even adapt the show correctly is sadly an expected recurring theme in modern-day Hollywood. First of all, I'm glad this was animated because the rate at which live action adaptations are sprouting every day, getting a show like this was marvelous. The animation was great, the action and fight scenes were phenomenal, but the story and writing of the characters showed that these guys don't know what DMC is about. From the bare bones of the show, it looks like Devil May Cry. The characters look like their counterparts, the lore is basically the same. Dante, the son of Sparda, and demons killed his brother and his mother. That's the lore of Devil May Cry, and they stick to the source material as it regards the basic lore of the franchise. Now, some liberties were taken in the show with the details, but it's still the basic Devil May Cry lore. The story for the show, though, strays so far from the canon, it turns the characters into caricatures of themselves. The story gets bogged down with government conspiracy theories and unnecessary politics that have no bearing in the world of DMC. But let's look at the characters. Dante in the games has always been cocky, playful, and humorous, so much so that Devil May Cry 2 was largely criticized because the creators decided to tone down his cocky attitude, but the show almost flanderizes Dante to the point that he seems incompetent. For instance, Dante has super speed, but in his fight with Lady, he forgets all of that because the plot calls for him to be incompetent. Dante doesn't even feel like the main character in the show, he's treated more as a supporting character rather than the main character. After all his fights and encounters with Lady, he still trusts her fully, even when she has shown over and over that she's not fully on board with Dante. You think that he would learn to keep his guard up around her, but no, he just lets himself get captured by her once again. But even in all of this, Dante still feels like Dante. He's way better than Dante in the DMC reboot, in my personal opinion. Lady received the short end of the stick in this show because she was turned into nothing but an annoying, foul-mouthed soldier. She was turned into something beyond the Lady we know from the games. Her story gets bogged down to being a mindless soldier that has no autonomy for herself. There was a scene where the showrunners tried to make us care about Lady and her relationship with the Darkcom team when they get massacred by demons, and it fell flat because these characters were flat and boring. There was really no reason for us to care for these guys. The show seems to make her the protagonist rather than a supporting character to Dante. They took her whole character arc out, starved her of any depth, and all we have left was the typical strong, independent girl boss that was winning fights against Dante. Seriously. Like, Lady is competent, but winning multiple fights against Dante was baffling. They nerfed Dante to serve Lady, which is just crazy to me because there was no reason to do that when they removed all of Lady's motivations. All we are left with is an unlikable character that continues a long line of female characters that are written poorly. Not to mention the fact that she had no character arc. She was meant to learn to trust demons, especially the ones that have proven themselves to be good, but she ultimately betrays Dante and hands him over to the government at the end end of the show after everything Dante had done for humanity, showing that she learned nothing and inadvertently led to the military invading and killing innocent demons, the same demons she tried to protect. This show really butchered Lady, man. Like, they massacred her. The White Rabbit was easily the best character in the show for me. Voice actor Hoon Lee really puts in a phenomenal performance in bringing this character to life. You can understand his motivations, his rejection of his humanity, and I love the fact that he is competent. It made him a standout in the show. I really loved him as a villain. His fight scenes were great, his monologues and mannerisms all endear you to him. A true representation of what the rejection of humanity does to you. The story, though, is where the whole house of cards comes tumbling down. Because what the hell is wrong with these creatives? The central theme of Devil May Cry is humanity, or the strength of the human heart. This is all thrown out the window because the writers are obsessed with their own politics. Because of course they are. The demons are portrayed to be inherently good for some reason. The invasion of Makai is somehow used as a representation of the war on terror, and the whole overarching idea of America bad are all things that have no place in the world of DMC. The vice president is some religious zealot because of course he is. The president is some bumbling idiot because of course he is. The biggest issue here is that the demons can't be inherently good. There is a difference between being good and going against your nature. The demons in the DMC franchise that defect are going against their nature, and I think they missed that point in this whole show. So the issue is not about demons that go against other demons. It's the fact that these demons are portrayed as inherently good and the humans are portrayed as bad. The military invading Makai is seen as an objectively bad thing, which just doesn't make sense considering they were just about to destroy humanity. The entire show was just rushed. They tried to do too much with too little time. A 30-minute 8-episode season is just not enough with the number of characters involved. The focus of this show was not even on Dante and the conflict of his parentage and the responsibility that falls on his shoulders. The main focus of the show is America bad, demons good, which is just I mean, that's one way to shit on your country, I guess. The show is not necessarily bad. I'd give it a strong 6.5 over 10. It's just a bad adaptation of Devil May Cry. Like, if this show was not set in the world of DMC, it might have been a great show, who knows. Like, I can understand why hardcore fans are disappointed and even pissed off at this adaptation, but that's the issue with adaptations today. Instead of leaning into the world of the IP, they decide to shoe in things that have no bearing in that world. Cringy dialogue and a terrible storyline. So the Devil May Cry anime wasn't a bad show, but a bad adaptation of Devil May Cry. With the announcement of a season 2, the showrunners have a lot of work to do because good animation and awesome rock music is not enough to make up for some of the atrocities in this show. Thanks for watching. What do you think of Netflix Devil May Cry? Let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.